For our presentation, we read an article titled, "What's Behind the Rise in Problem Behavior? It Could Be Cognitive." This presentation is by Brooke, Abby, Maya, and Grace.
This article talks about the behavioral struggles students are facing after the COVID-19 pandemic. Authors believe that this behavioral issue was because of the pandemic shutdown. During the shutdown, students were not able to attend school, which is thought to have weakened their executive functioning and memory skills. This article also offers strategical practices that can be done on a teacher's part for their students. These strategies are meant to strengthen executive function and memory for students.
The author's purpose. The author highlights the misconceptions the public has created on why children are having behavioral issues in the classroom. They are addressing that executive function deficits are the more likely cause of the problematic behavior, as children are struggling to adapt in environments that may be overwhelming. Weinstein and Say want to educate teachers on what they can do to help a child with retaining and understanding the information they are learning, so they do not fall behind due to lack of memory abilities. Article facts compared to class. Executive function is responsible for working memory and attention. This explains why children who may have lost or did not have growth in executive functioning due to the pandemic may struggle in their academic environment. Executive functioning influences problem solving, reasoning, and impulse control. Therefore, children may have poor behavior in the classroom since there are deficits in those areas of the brain. Executive dysfunction can result in children not taking accountability for their actions, mood swings, and memory difficulty.
What makes this article trustworthy or untrustworthy? Starting with what makes it trustworthy, Nancy Weinstein, who's one of the authors of the article, has a bachelor's degree in bioengineering from the University of Pennsylvania and a Master of Business Administration from Harvard. She's received several grants from the National Science Foundation for her research regarding evidence-based strategies to improve student learning and performance, suggesting validity to her ideas. The other author of the article, Nancy Tsai, has a bachelor's degree in cognitive neuroscience from UC Berkeley and a doctorate degree in learning, cognition, and development from UC Irvine. She currently works as a professor in the Department of Psychology at Harvard, and her research focuses on the relationship between stress and executive function. She also has work published in several peer-reviewed scientific journals. The final thing that makes it trustworthy is that the authors cite evidence from peer-reviewed journals to support their claims. Now, for what makes it untrustworthy, the article spends a lot of time talking about MindPrint, which is an assessment for grade school students to measure their cognitive abilities, and it helps determine the most effective learning strategies for them individually. Nancy Weinstein, one of the authors, is the founder and CEO of MindPrint, which leads us to question whether the article was published for informational purposes or for self-promotion.
The article's interpretation that cognitive challenges can underlie student problem behaviors is consistent with current educational and psychological research. The article's perspective aligns with existing research that indicates cognitive factors such as underdeveloped executive functions can contribute to behavioral issues in educational settings. The article emphasizes that problem behaviors often serve as coping mechanisms for students facing challenging environments. This view is supported by studies suggesting that when students perceive academic tasks as challenging, they may exhibit disruptive behaviors.
How might the current events article impact how the general public views the topic? This article challenges people to think differently about the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on students' academic performance and behavior. People tend to blame increased social media use during lockdown for students' problematic behavior and worsened academic performance and completely ignore other factors. The article suggests that the stress of the pandemic led to poorer executive functioning, and poor executive functioning led to the rise of behavioral issues and learning difficulties. Looking at problematic behavior and worsened academic performance from this point of view will help teachers and parents develop effective strategies to promote positive attitudes and learning in children. Additionally, the article may inspire future research about the relationship between problem behavior, academic performance, and executive functioning.
Do you think social media still has an influential impact on memory for children and could play a role on issues in the classroom? Did you experience any memory or executive functioning issues after coming back to an academic environment after the pandemic?